All right. We are experiencing some warm temperatures here in the Midwest in October. It doesn't get any better than this. I did some bike riding today. Man, oh man. But it's time to return to our roots after all these fabulous, wonderful interviews we've had over the last couple of weeks. It's time to review a film and talk some other stuff. It's Tuesday and it's time to talk. It's Val the Voice Johnson here, and welcome to another edition of Talk on Tuesdays. I'm so grateful that you're here joining us here on this terrific Tuesday. I don't know what to call it. Yeah, terrific Tuesday. It's all those wonderful things. All right, guys, here we go. To another edition of Talk on Tuesdays. Oh my goodness, we're so glad that you're here joining us on this terrific Tuesday, tenacious Tuesday. There's a bunch of Tuesdays we can call this. Well, it's myself and Coach Tony. We're back and Talk on Tuesdays, Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesdays is brought to you by our affiliate sponsor. That would be Legal Shield. Oh my goodness. And let me go ahead and bring that up. All right. I don't know what's happening. This is funny. Things are happening real funky with the tech today. That's wonderful. There we go. Our episode is brought to you today by Legal Shield. If you need a will or trust prepared or updated, or if you're worried about identity theft, or have a business that you would need to protect or trademark, learn how Legal Shield can help represent your legal needs at the fraction of the cost. Please visit our website, link tr.ee/Pure Light Media for more information. And of course, I'll let Kevin know to go ahead and place it in the chat. And if you have a phone, go ahead and text the word legal and we'll get you some information regarding getting wills or trusts, whatever you need with that. And then, of course, join us on Patreon. Patreon is, we have interludes. And of course, if you want to see some behind the scenes and some things, we've got some new shows that have been happening, not necessarily here in the space of YouTube. Well, come join us over on Patreon. I'll go ahead and ask Kevin to place that in the chat. Well, let's see who is in the building, in the virtual building. Let me see who is hanging out here in the virtual building. I'm going to go over here to our chat and see who's here. Oh, my goodness. Hello. It is April from California. So good to see you. Alejandro. Oh, my goodness. Great to see you. Wonderful to see you as well. And I think did I see her? Yes, I did. And of course, Queen Lakeisha saying hello from Maryland. Definitely so good to see you. That is DJ Lakeisha Mosley. I know about that. And of course, we have Mark Lee coming in hot from North Carolina. I know some people are viewing us while driving. They can't text, hey, what's up, Wise? And some other folks that are watching as well. Daniel, and of course, thank you so very much, Mr. Springer, for being here. So great that you're here to join us and see how you guys are doing. But my goodness, I got a chance to check out a film on Amazon Prime. Now, what's been happening is that I've been playing catch up. There was the Chicago International Film Festival here in Chicago over the weekend. It ended on Sunday, and I did not get a chance to preview any of the films. I feel so horrible about that. And things have been as they did a couple of years ago when we reviewed a few films from the Chicago Film Festival. we were able to do some things virtually. And so a lot of people are making films virtually. So you're able to see it and stream it immediately. But I was thinking, MGM produced this. And then, of course, Amazon Prime is their studio. So have you guys heard of the film called The Burial? Now, I didn't know anything about this particular film. I saw two recognizable actors. I think both have won Oscars. Of course, Jamie Foxx with Ray, and Tommy Lee Jones. I think The Accused. I think that's what he won for. And so you have Jamie Foxx, who does, I like to call, real body impressions very, very well. But it's a matter of figuring out, who is Willie Gary? Who is that? Now, are you guys fans of watching things legally, like the legal TV shows or the legal films? I always when I think of legal dramas, I'm always thinking about You Can't Handle the Truth. What film is that from? See, doesn't it look like Jamie's trying to say it right there? You can't handle the truth. He's got his finger out. But check this out. There are the top, now they had the top 10, but we're doing the top 5 according to the American Film Institute, and that's the AFI. And so they have their top films that they consider the legal ones. Number 5 is the quote that I just did a quote. It's A Few Good Men. And you remember, I think that was Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson, and that was interesting. The Verdict, that was one of them as well. One of my favorites, number 3, was Kramer versus Kramer. That was a very young Meryl Streep. I remember studying that screenplay when I was in school for that. And then, of course, number 2, 12 Angry Men. And then number 1, I believe this came out in the 40s or the 50s, I believe, To Kill a Mockingbird. No, that was the 60s. That's what it was, the 60s. So those are the top 5 legal dramas that people, if they see it, they'll watch it. Now, does The Burial come close? I think it has its great moments. And when I say it has its great moments, I could tell Jury Smollett, who is playing the one who is defending the big corporation who is wrong in this film. The two of them kind of going back and forth, and Jury has been in front of us since she was a little kid. So this is an adult role for her. A lot of you know her from Lovecraft Country, but this is her legal beagle. And what's even fun is to see the two of them kind of their characters are kind of comparing what they do. And this was back in the mid 90s, and that was around the time Johnny Cochran was getting popular, defending OJ in the most infamous OJ trial. But I don't know if legal dramas are your thing. I've been recently getting into the legal drama called All Rise. That was on CBS, but now it is currently on OWN. But right there, as you see at this picture, this is the real life Willie Gary. And he's a attorney out of Florida who has defended a lot of people, mainly for a lot of money. But recently there was a Fox news. It was a news story that came out stating that he was not very good to some of his ex-clients. And I don't necessarily know what all the details, and some people were very upset to see that Jamie Foxx was going to be portraying this gentleman. But I'm wondering, will this affect how good or well the film does? Well, right now, the film, since its release, it's only dropped to number 2 for the top. That's it for the top films on Amazon. And so that's Willie actually does a cameo in the film across from Jamie Foxx, because Jamie Foxx is portraying him. But I thought Jamie did a really good job portraying Willie Gary. if I never met him, I got a little sense of who he was just based on Jamie's interactions with the other actors. And then, of course, like I said, him and Jory Samet, they did such a great job acting against one another and kind of, that courtroom drama. I've just become a fan of that type of thing. And so that is now he won a $500 million case against an insurance company, and it was the O'Keefe Funeral Home in Mississippi. The gentleman, Mr. O'Keefe, he's pictured there with the real life Willie Gary. And then, of course, right next door is the actors. You have Tommy Lee Jones portraying Mr. O'Keefe, and then, of course, Willie Gary being portrayed by Jamie Foxx. So that was a fun thing for me to check out over the weekend, and I was like, oh, this is fun. If you got a chance to see The Burial, let me know in the chat. And if any of those films even wet your whistle, like the top 5 according to the American Film Institute, if those are any of the films that you liked, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. But definitely, I have been a huge fan of what was this? That was the Tom Cruise one. That would be A Few Good Men. That was a military law situation too, and then some others. But yeah, I I think The Burial, yeah, that's available. In fact, The Burial is available on Amazon Prime. And if you want to check out, and this could have been a film that could have been easily released to theaters, but it went straight to streaming via Amazon. And Amazon could have pulled the card and says, we're going to put it in theaters. But I don't know if people are going to be pushing for both the actors to either be nominated, they could, for their portrayal, but it definitely follows that paint by numbers uh, law drama, along with trying to follow some real events and then some things being switched out. So definitely. So I like I said, I was a fan, and I really liked what I saw regarding that. And then, of course, oh, I did hear that, Kevin Springer. I did hear the song called "Hold Tight" by Change. That song, I think, recently went viral. Tommy Davidson did some type of walk down the street with somebody, and he had his teeth and walking, and they were playing the song "Hold Tight," and he's just walking. I thought that was so funny. April says that she loves law drama. I was such a huge fan of LA Law, not because of fine Blair Underwood. It was just a good law show. Seriously. I can tell on myself. It's okay. And April agrees with me. She's giving me fire emojis. Thank you so very much. But yes, there was definitely, I have to agree with you, Queen April. There was definitely a lot of history in The Burial. Um, did not realize how many um there was a scene where in The Burial where they talked about the gentleman, people that had been buried and could not afford headstones. Many ancestors who were slaves. I was on a show talking about my mom and how I am literally one generation away from picking cotton. My mother and her siblings, some of them picked cotton in Arkansas because that was a way for them to make money. But we know hundreds of years ago that was one of the things that was used in slavery. I know people are like, how did The Burial come to slavery? Well, that is part of that historical thing that did. And so, yeah. And Kevin, he's so funny. He's like, yeah, didn't know that Tommy Davidson walked out to that song. Yeah, it was some video that went viral, and I was watching, and they were playing the song "Hold Tight," and he just was looking like a Cheshire cat with a frozen, just kind of walking. I didn't get it. It was funny to me. I didn't understand. And then that was the other thing. And guys, if you haven't seen the film, all kinds of spoilers for The Burial. But here, April brings out a great point. The National Black Baptist Convention and life insurance is real. Like that part of the film where it was found in discovery, or while they were researching the case, they thought the case was not going to come through and they would have to either settle or just drop the case because it was a case that came up. Willie said, let's sue them for 100 million. And I know they were asking for a lower amount, and Jamie Foxx was like, no, no, no. His character was like, no, 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 we have to fight for more. And come to find out that there was a large scam that was happening. You guys have got to check out the film. You guys have got to check out the film. Oh my goodness. Well, let me get to this. Now, I spoke about it last week, and I'm just going to get to it again because it just keeps coming up. But here's the thing. Jada has this book coming out, and you know who I'm talking about, Jada Pinkett Smith. She's got this book coming out that is called Worthy. And recently, I heard this, I think either on the Breakfast Club and a few other places, that Will supports her. Now, what was stunning was to also hear Stephen A. Smith. Now, that's him there. He covers sports, but he also covers pop culture, things that happen in pop culture. He had a 10 to 15 minute talk to the screen to Will kind of thing. And he said, you have allowed this woman to do ABC. You must have done something wrong. And I was thinking, really? Although when I think about all of the videos that have come out, unfortunately, where Jada is saying something and it's belittling to her husband, it just doesn't look good. And so when Stephen A. Smith kind of brings out that point that, I think, Will, you might have done something. We don't know what that something is, but you must have done something because you're saying that you're standing by your woman no matter what. I don't know. All I know is that it keeps heating up. Her book, I'm trying to see if it actually did something because it's now been out for a week. It's been a week as of today. And so one thing that I've noticed is that when she gets on and she's being interviewed, her demeanor has gone from being a very sad and all that to where she's chipper and very happy to just kind of share. Some people have seen her, but this is the Jada that I know, remember, and love. If you guys remember the movie Set It Off, how many remember the movie Set It Off? That's the movie that I felt like put her on the map. I thought it would have definitely boosted her acting career at the time because I remember her from a different world. But if you guys remember Set It Off, put it in the chat. Let me know. I'm telling you, Queen Latifah, Kimberly Elise, Vivica A. Fox, Jada Pinkett, and this was before she got married. This is the Jada that I remember. And I want us to go. I want both, as I said last week, both her and Will to just go off, get some healing, and let's get back to some acting. Let's get back to some movies and other entertainment. Unpack all of that stuff that you need to unpack behind the scenes. We don't need to know about it. I don't want to know about it. I want to remember this Jada. I want to remember this person, but we can't be locked in our past. We really can't. We have to always move forward. And so the two of them are moving forward. It's just that we know a lot about their dysfunction, and it's just rough. Anyway, and like I said, I'm following this story, number one, because I do now have an interest in reading the book Worthy. And number two, I just want them to just go off and just heal somewhere. But definitely, Lakeisha says that she thought Set It Off was epic. That was one of my favorite films. The other films that she was in, I think Woo and Low Down Dirty Shame, and there were some other films that she was in. They were okay. It's Collateral, number two, but Set It Off was definitely number one. But it would be great for the two of them to return back to entertaining the millions, entertaining the masses. That's what I want. And that would be phenomenal if that could happen. Because I've never been married. I don't know what it is to constantly say something that sounds disrespectful to everybody else. Your partner's okay with it, but other people look at you and go, "You're being mean, and we're canceling you." I don't think Jada should be canceled. I think that's the wrong C word. It needs to be counseling. Off screen, offline, away from all of us. Just go off into the sunset and heal in private, please. Oh my goodness. Anyway, it's time for some sports. My goodness. I gotta do a hard pivot here. It's time for Coach Tony, and he's back. And here we go. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Man, what's up, Val? The voice. Get my camera right. Got my hat on tonight with my boys. If you can read them, champions. What's good?
Who's the champions? Who's the boys that's the champions? Who am I looking at?
We're gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna reveal that until we get into the NBA. We're gonna talk about that. That's coming up.
All right, Coach
But
Tony
you were
is
absolutely
in
right,
the
though, Val.
building. All right. How was your weekend, sir?
Oh my God, busy on the road. To go do a camp, and whatnot. And it's basketball time, Val. It's that time of the year for me. So I told you, like the last few years, I feel like old school Tom Joyner, fly job. Right? You better break the wrist. You gotta break the wrist. Got to break the wrist. You know what I'm saying? And
this is a mini basketball. This is not a real basketball. Okay.
I need you to put the hoop in the background on the wall over there, so you can turn around and shoot it in the wall. So I know you got that action going on. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, you were 100% right. We've had so many fabulous guests over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
We kind of got away from what me and you do, and that's got to give the people. What's that? Give the people what they want. Exactly. And again, this is Interludes Talk on Tuesday with my girl. Boom, boom, boom. Val the voice with your homeboy, Coach Tony, our guy on the boards, Kevin Springer. Push that like button. Definitely make sure you subscribe to this show because we coming to get you. And before we get started tonight, Val, I'm going to put a message out there for Springer to put out because I want everybody to go ahead and do their early homework before we get to the NBA. So by the time we start talking about it, we can get those responses because I'm gonna ask for a lot of responses from the audience tonight. But the question that's on the table tonight, and you guys are gonna love it, is I want to know during the NBA segment tonight, is the person that can guess the NBA Finals game correctly next June, Val, 2024. I need those two teams that are going to be in the NBA Finals. And if they can beat me for promotional purposes only, and give me the NBA champion, you will win a $100 gift certificate. And if you beat my pick, we're going to give you a bonus $25, $125 gift card. And, that starts your summer off right. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so this is for 2024. This is not for right now. Let's just be clear. This is not for right now.
It's the NBA Finals, and we're going to track that. So give it to us tonight. We're going to take a few weeks probably to get everything in, and Kevin will be grabbing those names and whoever put what up, and we'll grab that behind the scenes. We'll keep track. We'll write it down. We want to know who you're thinking about, what you're doing. We're going to keep track, and if you can beat the coach, we're going to reward you for it. See how we do back?
Yeah. Okay, I feel you. But let's go to the women.
Man.
The women.
I'm sorry, Val.
Women.
I thought I was gonna see you like wave a white flag this weekend. You know what I'm saying? When you talk to me, because unfortunately, my girl, the Aces, with our girl Candace Parker. So think about that, Val. Candace goes with the Sparks, get a ring. She comes home to the Chicago Sky,
Yep.
get a ring. And then she goes out to Vegas, and although she got hurt, she still gets a ring. So
Yep.
our brother's balling right now. But, I love you to death, Val, but for promotional purposes only, with my game, I told you, Asia Wilson and Kelsey Plum and Young, they were just too much, absolutely too much for Breonna Stewart and those guys. And Val, here's a little note,
Mm-hmm.
that you may or may not know. The Las Vegas Aces this year became the first WNBA team in 21 seasons since
Mm.
the 2001 2002 season when the Houston Comets
Right.
and our girl Cheryl Swoops and Cynthia Cooper went back to
Yay.
back. That's a
Oh.
long, long time.
And the league was still young back then, because
The
the
league was
WNBA
very
has
young,
only been around
very
since
young.
1995, 95, right?
Yeah. And now you're seeing that the NBA has wrapped themselves around the women's game.
As
Obviously,
they
now Golden
should.
State has a new team coming. And I mean, look at that. Look at that trophy now. I mean, I remember, Val, when they gave a trophy that was no bigger than your hand. That was a disgrace to women. And now, look at them now. Jay Pratt, what's up, baby? Shout out. St. Louis in the house. So, it was, and Pratt, I need to know why you up on it. I need to know. I want to see your picks. We start talking NBA. I need to know who you got, baby.
Well, check this out. Mark has a pick. He says Golden State comes back and wins against Boston or Philly. Think
No, no,
it'll
no,
be
Mark. Hey,
Boston.
there's no or, Mike. I mean, Mark, there's no or. I need you to give it to me. I need a East Coast champion. I need a West Coast champion. And I need one winner, Mark, not or. I need one winner, baby. Only one person can win that championship like my Las Vegas Aces. Right, Val?
Well, he'll work on that as we talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the
Work,
women.
work,
He'll
work on
work
that.
on that. Yeah.
He got a
So
little homework.
this was wonderful, and they won in Vegas, right?
No, Val, remember, I wanted them to win in Vegas. But we took it on the road, baby, in the
Oh
garden.
no.
We went to Joe's back door in the garden and got a ring on the road. And,
Oh
and hey,
no.
how they said in life, New York City
New York can't catch a break. As
ain't catch
long
a
as I
break.
was there, I was rooting for the Knicks. I was rooting for, well, the Giants did do something in 2007.
Yeah,
So
they did. Came out
I
there.
rooted for some of the New York teams while I was living there. But now that I'm not there anymore, it's back to Chicago. Yeah,
Hey, back to you. It ain't back to the child. You never get ready. And Mama always say, you can take the girl out of the city. Don't never take the city out of the girl. You know that.
That's right. The South Side. Don't take the South Side out the girl. But
Southside
yes, so
Rain.
congratulations. This was back-to-back championships for the Las Vegas Aces.
And
Congratulations
they had
to
the parade.
all of them.
They had the
Phenomenal.
parade. And here's what's so cool about it, Val.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, Las Vegas has added the Oakland Raiders, right? So they're the new NFL team.
Mm-hmm.
They've added the Sharks, which just won a hockey NHL, and they've only been in existence for 3 years, the youngest team to do it. Now
Okay.
the WNBA team goes back to back. And I guarantee you, I don't know, I got to talk to some sources, but I bet you that an NBA team is on a rise for Vegas. And if people haven't heard yet, the Oakland A's has put in their paperwork to also leave the Golden State area, Val, and move to Las Vegas to become a professional baseball team and to become the Las Vegas A's.
Okay. April is saying she's got her choices: Golden State Nuggets versus the Milwaukee Bucks.
I like that. Now I need to know, April, who you think gonna win between them two. Give it to me. Oh, I don't need a piece of the pie. I need the whole pie.
What pie? But see, let me stop you, Coach. What kind of pie are we cooking? Are we doing cherry and apple pie? Are we doing sweet potato pie, pumpkin pie? What kind of
Well,
pie do you need? What kind of pieces do you need? She's thinking the last two. It only takes two teams to be in the finals. So you want everybody leading up to the finals, which is that whole pie with apple pieces, or you want something? You just want two slices, the last two
well,
slices. What we doing?
it could be like me and you and Eddie Murphy and Martin in life. We was at that restaurant, but we can't have them like
so April April is saying Golden State will win. So she's saying that Golden State's going to win everything. Now the other
Now,
person that might show
now,
up alongside of Golden State might be Milwaukee. That's
now,
her
Mark.
that's her picks.
Now, see, the good thing about it, April did homework. Mark, you need to cheat off April's paper because she understood the rules. Give me an East Coast and a West Coast and give me a final. So April right now got Golden State. Mark said Golden State against Boston. I need to know who you think gonna win it all. So, and then I'm gonna give you my picks at the end of the show, so nobody, what's going on.
Oh my,
Speaking of picks, Val, I
yeah.
tell you what,
So
I have been hurting with the Major League Baseball, but tonight I only got one team left, and that's them Phillies. And they are up right now in the sixth inning, 2-1 on the Diamondbacks, who was the longest shot to make it to the World Series. And Texas Rangers knocked off Houston, which I had Houston to win it all. But so they own the state of Texas right now. They had a phenomenal game last night, beating the Houston Astros 11-4. Oh my goodness!
wow. And so it's coming down to now the teams that will be in the World Series. So it's going to be the Texans
And we don't know. So whoever wins the National League game tonight will play Texas Rangers from the American League. So we right now in the sixth inning, we got 3 innings to go. And right now, Philadelphia Phillies are up on the Diamondbacks right now, leading the way.
Wow. Okay. Well, we're gonna see who's gonna win the National League game, and just I don't know. So I think it's going to be Philadelphia and the Texans. That's who I think.
Okay.
I'm calling it right now for the World Series. It's going to be
Okay.
them because they. I got a piece of the game that happened between the Texans and the Astros. I was actually pulling for Houston.
Okay, yeah, like me.
Yeah.
But Texas was balling back. They was knocking the ball out the park like it was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna be tough.
And here's a question from Mark. Mark says, do they have a professional soccer team? Would that be the Texans or that?
No. Vegas don't. And by the way, Vegas, Springer put my guy. Hey Val, that's our homeboy right there. Checked in for Mark. Springer put my brother back, Michael Drew, right there. What's up, MD? Say he got Milwaukee versus the Nuggets for the finals. Okay, now I need to know who you think gonna win it all, Drew. I need to know who's gonna win it all.
Oh, okay. So these are the pieces of the pie that you want, because I'm sitting up here trying to figure out if it's a cherry pie, apple pie, a sweet potato pie, or pumpkin pie. I don't know what
cherry
pie it is.
I'm gonna take the apple pie, but I'm gonna need the whole piece of the ingredients. I'm gonna need to know, just like April did, give me the 2 teams in the finals, and then give me 1 team that's gonna win it all. Because that's what I'm gonna do for you.
So April is saying go Philly, and then Michael is following you. He says he wants to do this for the baseball. He says it's going to be the Diamondbacks versus the Rangers in the World Series.
So he went to the longest shot. But I'm gonna tell you something, Val. So me and Mike was talking. I was out hanging out with him a couple of weeks ago. We kicked it. Oh my God, we had a blast. And for promotional purposes only, the day he told me to take the Diamondbacks over the Dodgers, I could have, could have put a nice little opportunity in my pocket. I didn't listen to him. So you may want to take a listen to him. But again, Drew, we got 3 innings to go, and the Diamondbacks got to wake up if they're going to get past my boys tonight.
Yeah. So, and I'm assuming it's tied up, because I think that's what you sent me, that score
Now Philly is up 2-1, and Mike said he got the Milwaukee Bucks to win it all this year. Okay, he's going back to the Central Division with the Bulls division. He's going back to the Central. I like that.
Yeah, so I think all of this is important to figure out, and here we only ask for these predictions, and it's for promotional purposes only. If you have a gambling issue, please do not bet on any of the games. Thank you.
Right,
that's my PSA service. There we go. That's my PSA service number.
Right. Don't do no promotionals if you got promotionals. You know what I'm saying? So you got the promotion. But we're gonna do this. So over the next few weeks here, I'm gonna give everybody over the next few weeks, because we got some big guests coming up, and we'll put an end date on when we want the last people in. But as Springer has started to take the tally, we're gonna write down everybody's name, Everybody who's giving us stuff, we're gonna keep up with that, throughout the year. And as we get to June, then we're gonna know you're gonna have to beat the coach. That's a hard task to do, Val. You know that.
Beat the coach? Oh
Man,
man,
you gotta beat the
that's
coach.
kind of tough.
That's gonna be tough. And speaking of tough, right now, the NBA. Let me get them drum rolls. Brrr. NBA opens up tonight, Val, and we got two big games. And for promotional purposes only, right now, my Golden State my Denver Nuggets is beating up on the Lakers right now by 14 late in the fourth quarter, 115-101 right now. But the big game is tonight, and I text my boy Michael Wamble because he's now back on the West Coast in Golden State. So I know he's happy because Chris Paul and them boys get to play against his ex-team. They got them Phoenix Suns coming to town tonight.
This is exciting. This now we have now kicked into the regular season as of tonight.
So preseason is over. Every game counts now, Val. So again, this is why we want to do this tonight. That's why we have no guests. I wanted to get into the NBA. A couple things I want to talk about in the NBA. I think that this year is going to be a crazy year in the NBA. You got a lot of new rookies, the biggest class that the NBA has seen, they said, in almost 7-8 years. Victor Wembanyama, we're going to see what this kid does. We talked about him a few weeks ago, Val, the big 7'5" kid that went number one in the draft. Of course, I think my guy from Nashville, Brandon Miller, is going to have a phenomenal season. I think the scoring title is going to go back to Joker and the Denver Nuggets. Joker, I think he'll win the scoring title again this year for the third time. And I'm sorry, Joel Embiid, I love you to death in Philly, but I just think the Joker is going to be the league scoring title again this season, Val.
Well, if that person has not had any injuries, he'll be able to repeat that. He'll be able to go ahead and repeat that. And our winner from last year from the NBA Finals, let me see if I can remember. Who was it? I forgot.
It would be these boys I'm wearing on my hat right there, those Denver Nuggets right there.
The Nuggets. So here's the question: Will Denver be able to defend its title when it comes back around? That's the big question.
To give you mine, I'm gonna go ahead and put mine out there so you get it right now, so Springer can give it to you. We're gonna give it to you at the end of the show, but these Denver Nuggets will repeat, and coming out the East Coast, it will be the Milwaukee Bucks playing against the Denver Nuggets. I think this year you will see a great thing. Now, the Rookie of the Year, I'm gonna surprise you there too for promotional purposes. I don't think it's gonna be Victor Wembanyama. I love you, April. I love you to death, but I think it's gonna be my homeboy right here out of Nashville, Tennessee, and Brandon Miller down there with Jordan and them boys in the Charlotte Hornets. I think he's got the package around him. I think they're going to give him the ball. I think that Victor has got to survive that West Coast beating. I think that night in and night out, playing against Anthony Davis, playing against the Joker, playing against, that West Coast, the boys out of Sacramento, I think it's a tough road as opposed to what Brandon Miller's got. He'll be in the East Coast. The East is going to be loaded this year, obviously, again. And he's in that Central Division, which is going to be tough in that division with Atlanta Hawks, the Bulls, and the Bucks. But I think that he'll get an opportunity to get that ball from Melo. And I think Melo will be giving him the ball enough on the wing. He'll be able to do a lot of stuff that Victor's not going to be able to do. Now, where I do like Victor at, Val, for promotional purposes, I think you can put your money on Victor Wembanyama to win the Rookie of the Year in terms of block shots. I think he'll lead the league in block shots, but I think the Miller kid will be the league overall Rookie of the Year.
Well, when I learned this when Terry Cummings was a guest a couple of weeks back, is that whenever a player is named Rookie of the Year, they get an additional kickback from the NBA. Like that's an additional salary. Is that correct, Coach?
So they get three things. They get their normal salary. Then most of the teams giving them an incentive, Val. So if they become Rookie of the Year, they may get another $2-3 million. And they may get $2 or $3 million. Then you turn around after that, and the league gives them a gift. And I like that, Drew. I'm not copying off you because you went to the East Coast. I'm out west. I'm out west. I'm out west. So hey, but hey, as Arnold Schwarzenegger said, Val, I'll be back.
I'll be
That's what Joker telling him. So you will, Val. So if these kids can walk in, and Terry made a good point. You know, uh, from when he played, the salaries were capped and they only could do so much. It wasn't until Michael Jordan and what Jerry Reinsdorf and the guys did to Jordan with the Bulls, and they paid him that 25, 30, and $33 million the last 2 or 3 years of his contract. When Jordan got that money, it exploded the contracts. And after that, the league minimum for the kids went up. So it used to be 3 mil for three. So the kids could leave the league in about $10 million. Now it's 7.5. So I could go to the league for 3 years and never play in the league again, and I'm walking away with $20 million in my pocket. And that ain't including a shoe endorsement, TV commercials, marketing, and everything else they got behind them now. So it's phenomenal.
Wow, man, I'm telling you. But like I said, I'm hyped for this upcoming season. I'm gonna get to a Bulls game. I'm gonna make it my business to attend a Bulls game. I want to definitely do that. And then, of course, this is my stress basketball. It's good for squeezing like this, but I got
to work on the handles, though.
Where I got this from, huh?
We got to work on them handles. We got to work on them handles. Get them handles together.
I haven't done handles in decades, Coach.
Hey, you know something? You know who you need to probably go talk to?
Who?
We didn't put this on here tonight, but I got to give it up for my homeboy, Terry Cummins' homeboy, Mr. Mark Aguirre. Just took over at DePaul University's head coach, flashed on the news. He is now the new head coach at DePaul, and TC is going to probably love every bit of that. And that's a person that can physically recruit the city. And I'm hoping that Mark coming in, I'm hoping he can get back to the glory days of DePaul, recruit the west side, recruit the south side of the city, keep these young boys home, and without sending them down to John Schreier, because Schreier's got his hands still in Chicago boy, he's from Duke. Of course, Chris Collins has got his hands in and being up at Northwestern, but I'm hoping that Mark Aguirre can revitalize DePaul's program, Val, and that'll be awesome.
Ooh, all right. And then, so you got April in the audience saying, "Go on, come on now, teach Coach Tony."
Hey,
and she likes Mark DePaul. That's right.
Yeah, Mark at DePaul. That's going to be great. And the cool part about it is that, again, when you're looking at the opportunity where this money is going right now, the money is going absolutely insane. These coaches are making so much money. And what you're seeing pretty much, Val, is what you and I talked about almost 6 months ago himself. I told you that, becoming this year and the next year, you're going to see a lot of ex-NBA guys jump back to college basketball, which is needed because that'll be just like me, getting in a podcast game. Why not? I want to learn from Val the voice. I want to learn from the best in the game so I can make sure that my podcast is tight. I'm not going to learn from, Johnny Joe on the bench. I mean, he's struggling. So you gotta, when you teaching those type of kids, they look up and respect a guy that's got All-American at a college and then going to the NBA to make a boatload of money, and he was respected. And Mark Aguirre's got all that, and he's back home in Chicago.
Oh, and Mark, this Chicago is his hometown, just like Terry.
West Side. Terry South Side, Mark West Side.
That's all South Side, West Side. But you know what? People get to the NBA because of great coaches. And when I think about great coaches, I think of a lot of folks that come into my mind, especially women basketball coaches. I was troubled when I got this news. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so, Tony, tell us about this young lady here.
It's Val, this actually touches my heart because, like you say, I've been attached to the women's basketball right now. It's 23, 14. This is my 16th season on the sideline, women's basketball. And as you know, and some of the guys that listen to me on a weekly basis may or may not know, I just took over first high school job, coming off the college bench of a all girls Catholic high school here in Nashville, and excited to get the young ladies. And when you see something like this with Tasha Butts, 41 years old, she's a University of Tennessee grad, played under none other than Pat Summitt, a national championship there at UT Vols from 2000 to 2003. She was the number 20 of draft pick, Val, going to the Minnesota Lynx in that 2004 class. And then she worked her way up out of the WNBA. Now, remember, so think about what we just talked about a moment ago, Val. 21 years ago, right, is when the last time that Houston Comets with Cheryl Swoops and Cynthia Cooper. And Cooper was like the Michael Jordan who went back to back. And now 21 years later, Asia did. Well, Tasha Butts came into the league during a time. She had an opportunity to play against the greatest, against Cheryl Swoops and, Cynthia Cooper and, and Lisa Leslie as they were coming along, and Grandma. She got a chance to play and really kind of construct WNBA basketball at its midpoint. It had already done 10 years and now was making that turning point. And then when she retired and hung up her WNBA shoes, she became an assistant coach. Obviously, we talked about the past of Nikki McCray not too long ago. And now Tasha moves on to, which is one of my favorite institutions, with John Thompson in the Georgetown Hoyas, taking over the women's program at Georgetown. And then all of a sudden this past Friday, we find out that she had a long battle with breast cancer and passes away. This is why it is very important for us as a community, especially the women, to make sure we're getting checked, especially Black African American women, to make sure we're getting checked on a yearly basis. If it runs very high in your family, do it more often. And this is why I also ask that in the month of January, when we have the NBA or WNBA or high school basketball games, what we call the breast cancer game, the pink out game, this is why I say stop what you're doing. Cut the TV on. Go to a basketball game. Just support the local teams in your area, because you don't understand how much that's worth, especially the opportunity to give the money to the program to help fight this disease.
Yeah. And so 41 it's too young. And for her to be named and now said of the head coach of the women's basketball team, I know that she will be truly missed. Yeah. And definitely, if nothing else, this will encourage our audience, especially if you have a sister, if you have a mom, if you have a cousin, a woman cousin, and even with men, especially if you're heavy in that area, you need to get those things checked out, because it, yeah.
And it's so important, Val. And again, it's great. I try my best each and every year. Matter of fact, I just entered our team into we just talked about school last night, doing practice, participating in doing a breast cancer game on a pink out game for support, and that. And it's already, the parents are already in major support, and, and so forth and so on. So, it's exciting that we are seeing the WNBA turn the corner like the NBA, and we're starting to finally see fans like we talked about last week. 55,000 people in Iowa last week to watch the Iowa Hawkeyes, open up their season against DePaul. And, those type of things and the money like that is going to cancer research to help people like Coach Butts and what she had to go through. And it's just, we just got to sometimes step up and do our parts.
Very much so, very much so. And so, like I said, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. A good friend of mine in Brooklyn, her name is Rosalind Harris. She did a run this past over the weekend, and I sent her money. I think she did something with the American Cancer Society. So she does something every year. She's an active runner. So Rosalind, thank you so very much for letting me know about this. And, we will be praying for the family of Tasha Butts. This is very disturbing to me. 41, just a woman with so much full of life and character. And like I said, for behind every great player, no matter what sport it is, there is a great coach. And there's no doubt that she will be sorely missed by her
Yes. Georgetown
Georgetown Hoyas. That's what I want to make sure. I want to say I said the right George. I didn't want
Yeah.
to do the wrong George.
And
There
the,
you
and the
go.
crazy part about it is, Val,
Mhm.
it's a young lady who really didn't even get an opportunity to get her coaching career really even off the ground. You know, uh,
Mhm.
that's the hard part about it. Nikki McRae either. And she didn't start. It's just these things that go on, and we got to. These are the things that really make us understand, Val, that life is short. You got to enjoy it to its fullest each and every day. You got to mentor those people you can mentor, and when sometimes someone's asking for a helping hand, I know we live in a different time now, but you'll be amazed when we keep talking about mental illness. Those are sometimes those questions get asked. Reach out and do it. You'd be amazed that just simply saying hello to somebody, how much you can brighten their day up.
Very much so. Very much so. And like I said, it's very, very important. Um, I had to make sure that I'm seeing this right, and I guess I am. This is breaking news, and this actually CNN just broke this news literally 6 minutes ago.
Uh-oh.
I can't believe this, but the actor known for 1971 Shaft, Richard Roundtree,
Oh,
has passed away.
wow.
And
That was my guy.
no, born in New Rochelle, New York. He was 81. How many ways or how many times did you watch? Who was this? Isaac Hayes won the Oscar for the theme for Shaft, and this
Hey,
came
shut
out
your
the
mouth.
year I
Shaft,
showed up in
shut your mouth.
1971.
Boom, boom,
Shut your
boom,
mouth.
boom, boom. Hey, that was my
Yeah.
guy. Hey, I liked him when he was in I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. I'm telling you, if you ever watch I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, that is, and another movie, Fear of a Black Planet. A lot of people don't know about Fear of a Black Planet. I know Drew, he out there, he do, but
Mhm.
uh, but that I'm Gonna Get You Sucker was classic. And Shaft definitely was classic. All I didn't like, and don't get me wrong, Val, because I love, my man Samuel Jackson. But the remake of Shaft was okay. It couldn't touch the original.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And so I was seeing this. Thank you so very much. This was Kevin. Kevin broke the news here on Talk on Tuesdays. He pretty much placed it here in the chat. And then I says, well, let me triple check that. And then boom, I saw it. My mom was a huge fan of Richard Roundtree as Shaft has been redone. There's a director, Gordon Parks.
Okay,
Gordon Parks
know what
directed
that
a Shaft. He was a famed photographer for Time magazine,
is. Hmm.
and I believe Shaft was one of his first films in the feature lane. And for that soundtrack to win, if you've ever heard the original Shaft by Isaac Hayes, then it's just literally that instrumental situation,
I
and then
got it.
leading
I got
into
I got the album. I got
yeah,
the
you got
album.
the I was leading into the vocals. Most famously, the remake, I think in 2000, that was Samuel L. Jackson, and Richard Roundtree did a cameo in the remake
Mhm.
of the own film based on his character back from 1971. Richard
And
Roundtree,
and
phenomenal.
also the song out of there that was jamming. That's when the famous Papa was a Rolling Stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home
Yeah.
until he died. So that was definitely off the cuff right there. But this brother right here was
Mhm.
instrumental for opening the door for a lot of black actors at the
Right.
time. He
Very
was
much
there
so.
during
And if you
Harry Belafonte days. They was in that era.
And if you see, April says, Val, what woman wasn't a fan of Richard Roundtree? such such a nice man. And then she says, like you, she has the album as
There you go.
well.
Hey, there you go. Hey,
Thank you, Wise.
brother Wise, what's up, my brother? That's amazing. Once again, Roundtree himself, just did so much, and it opened the door for many things. And it's amazing that I was listening to an interview, and do you know that Samuel Jackson said that of all the actors as he was coming up, Roundtree was one of his favorite. He wanted to get into the business, not because of Harry Belafonte and a few others, but when he saw Roundtree did Shaft and a couple of things, it made, he was like, hey, I could do that. And obviously he's done it now for a lot of years.
Yeah. And the whole thing was I didn't realize this. He actually played football.
Really?
Roundtree attended New Rochelle High School, where he played on the school's nationally ranked football team. And then he
Wow.
also earned in 1961, he earned a athletic scholarship to attend Southern Illinois University in Carbondale,
Yes, I
Illinois.
knew Carbondale. Yeah,
Carbondale, but
yeah.
he left the school in 1963 to pursue a career as an actor and model. Most recently, there's a show that was on Netflix where he played opposite of Loretta Devine. It was The Family, Netflix. I forgot the name of the show. It was the Family something. I forgot what it was, but he was recently on that particular show, and he wasn't on every episode, but it was fun to see him play opposite of Loretta Devine, because I don't know. I'm like, oh, she's old enough to play a Madeira. I didn't get it, but I can't think of the name of the show on Netflix. It's gonna bother me, but yeah. Most recently, he was having cameos on that, portraying the minister or whatever. So definitely, but this has been a very interesting talk on Tuesdays. I thank you guys for being here. I'm going to be traveling this week, Tony, going and getting some home, my second home, which is New York, which is always fun to do. But
New York,
I
New
want to
York,
I want
big
to
city
definitely
of business.
remind people. I want to definitely remind people the podcast that has been released. And let me go ahead and get rid of this. Resilience with Paintbrushes. It's with Terrence P. Elmore. You guys have given me some wonderful, I want to say, feedback about it. If you want to hear the latest episode, you can go ahead and download it. He has a current book out called Pain is Not Our Only Paintbrush. He just released it a couple of weeks ago here. And also, I didn't know October is a lot of things, now as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but then also October is National Domestic Violence Month, Awareness Month.
Right.
So I did not know that. He had told me about it. And so he wrote this book a part of the way in the pandemic, and it's poetry as well. But he is one of our biggest supporters and a friend to the
Okay.
show. And this is his second appearance on our podcast via audio. But go ahead and download that latest episode, Resilience with Paintbrushes. It's Terrence P. Elmore. Thank you guys so very much. Well,
Man,
Tony, it's
that's,
been a
woo,
phenomenal one, man.
hey, phenomenal. Again, this interlude talking on Tuesday with my girl, Val Voice, of course, your homeboy, Coach Tony. Make sure you like us. Definitely like us in that like button status and subscribe to this show. And again, thank each and every one of you guys. We're going to continue to keep up with that NBA run. And Kevin is going to be tallying that up. We'll give a date that it's going to cut off. Continue to go home, do some homework, because I'm going to be asking you about that each and every week. And you ain't going to know about it unless you wear Val right here with us on Tuesday nights at Interludes Talk on Tuesday, baby.
And we're celebrating our third year. I'm trying to bring up the comment that Kevin put in the chat. Thank you so very much. Name of the show that Richard Roundtree was a part of with
Family
Tia
reunion.
Maury was called Family Reunion.
Yeah.
Loretta Devine, Tia Maury. Thank you so much. That was going to bother me for me to not remember that.
Hey, April, you gonna make me pull my album out tonight to take a look at it, because Val, on that album, Isaac Hayes was Black Moses. You remember that,
Oh,
right?
he sure was.
There you go. So he on front of the album, and that album was a unique album. So April, if you got that album, you know what I'm saying. You actually had to open that album up, Val. It was a cover, and it opened up four ways, and the album was inside, and it had like the thing of the Ten Commandments. That was one of the dopest albums. ever made, and it was a classic.
Wait a minute, Coach. I see this from April. So I mentioned family reunion, and April is
Oh,
she said she worked on that with Richard Roundtree. Good
oh,
gracious!
wow. Give me some of that.
Come on, come on, come
Man, that's
on.
kudos. Hey, April, that's why I hang out with you. Stay with the plug. Stay with the plug. Tell you.
We'll be back next week. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Next week is November. But
Man, don't
guys,
forget, if you hanging out this weekend, this Saturday night, don't forget to push your clocks back an hour. We fall back. And we lean back, like Fat Joe said, so that way
oh,
you don't miss
that's
the
this
show next
weekend.
Tuesday.
We fall
That's this
back this
weekend.
weekend, not the next weekend.
This is the end of the month. This Saturday is the last Saturday of
Oh,
October, Val.
oh no! I thought it was going
Yeah,
to be the first Saturday of November. I thought I had at least another week.
it's always end of October. Lean back. Lean back.
Oh wow! Well, go ahead. Our episode is sponsored by Legal Shield. Text the word legal. If you want more information, if you have a will or trust that you need help with, go ahead and do that. But guys, we're gonna get on out of here, and we thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back, me and Coach, next week with Talk on Tuesday.
Peace.
Peace.